Hey, you guys. I hope everybody is doing well. I literally had to check myself maybe a half an hour ago because, before we jump into the topic, I'm just giving people a chance to drop into the live, perhaps. Hopefully, YouTube is sending out notifications. But yeah, I was playing this game. I think I'm addicted to this game on my cell phone, and I am not even a cell phone game player. Seriously. I've gone years without really caring about cell phone games. I'm like, I see people playing games. I'm like, how wasteful. But I'm telling you, I have been very much addicted to this one particular game. I believe I'm on board like 570. There's confirmation. But God was like, oh, whoa, Lakia. Everything with balance, honey. Hey, Sherry, 48196, one of my day ones. Welcome to the live. But yeah, he was like, wait, whoa. I have stuff for you to do. You could play your game sometimes, honey, but you got to do what I need you to do too. And he only got to tell me one time. So I put that game down. I was like, yes, sir. And here I am on the live with you guys. Getting back to stuff that I would need to be doing, but this video is important, and it may not even make sense to people who've never experienced narcissistic abuse or been in a really horrific relationship. They're like, why do you need reinforcement not to go back to a toxic person or not to go back to a narcissist of all people? Isn't it obvious? But there's a lot of inner workings that happen with this relationship, and a lot of toxic bonds and connections, and particularly the trauma bond that make it really hard. So video like these are really good, especially when you first leave, and especially when it was a long-term connection, whether it was romantic or whatever. On this channel, we focus a lot on romantic. But yeah, when you first leave, that trauma bond is still so strong. And even though you logically know what you should do, a lot of people buckle in because that trauma bond is still stronger than their common sense. The trauma bond is still stronger than God's voice. The toxicity is still overpowering the situation. This is why, we talk about the addiction that's involved here with the narcissist and the empath, connection, and how that is the equivalent to, being an alcoholic or being a drug addict. And sometimes those people get so bad that they really do have to check themselves into a center, put them in a place where it would be super hard for them to, get to their vice. And then even with that, they're going to go through a lot of discomforts at that point, or withdrawal, if you will. And depending on a drug, that could feel really horrific, that your body, your flesh is just fighting against you. It might feel like it. And I've made videos like this early on when I first made this channel, when I really want to give people realistic expectations of what it really feels like when you come out of these situations. It really might feel worse at first. It might feel worse. I'm choosing my words very carefully here for a reason, and we'll go back to that. It's going to feel worse at first before it feels better. But these are just feelings, although it's literally better automatically. Because come on, if we take it back to the other types of addictions, if I stop doing crack, it's already better for me. I'm not putting any more into my body. But yeah, I'm going to have to detox my body now because I've been putting a lot of messed up stuff in it. And now my body needs to be trained, because the flesh has its own mind, right? And that's why people say with men have two heads, the one up here and the one down there. And when that one is leading the way, it could override the other one depending on that man's control, self-control, and emotional maturity and willingness to give in to whatever, his flesh. So your flesh might be screaming for that trauma bond, your brain, because that's where the trauma bond is planted, inside of your brain, which is controlling everything that you're doing. It may be, wanting that and desiring it and craving it because that's what it's used to. You've been running off of that pattern for so long. So we need videos like this to help people be reinforced. And it's good when you first get out. Shoot, it's good when you've already left out. It's good for you, way down the line, because toxic empaths, sometimes, we get softer as the time goes by. So maybe years have passed and this person might try to come and act like they're a new person. Trust me, they never change. Never, ever fall for that. You know, in empaths, we want to always believe the best. We want to believe that people can make the shifts. Yes, people can, but narcissists don't. And those type of people don't. Okay. Once you see that, that's a wrap. And it should be too risky for you. Empaths have to stop being so risky. There's confirmation and taking on, and I haven't even gotten to my list right now, but this is just me freestyling. But we got to stop being so risky with our emotions, with our heart, with our time, with our life, really, because when these people come, they're really major distractions to get you off of your best course and put you into the worst course that you could be in. Because think of life as a big classroom, because it is. They want you down there. They don't even want you in class. They want you dropped out, walking around like a zombie, really. Don't even want you really in class, elevating and promoting on. But I say all of that to say content like this really is important, you guys. And I really pray that whoever gets out of these situations really able to stay there. And it takes premeditation, You have to be proactive in the healing process, of course. All right. Be proactive. You have to fill voids. These are things that aren't on the list, but this is just helping you in the healing process right now. Fill the voids. Whatever you were doing with that other person, if a lot of times there's codependency and a lot of time is being spent together, you're going to have to fill those voids with something else. And be proactive about it, whether it's binge watching videos in communities like this and doing a lot of self-work and reading books and working out and, whatever it is, getting back to yourself, getting back into your hobbies, taking care of yourself, because oftentimes, of course, your self-care has dropped down by the wayside by the end of this relationship. And it's time you have to really replenish yourself. And as your body is detoxing all of that toxicity out, you need to be filling it back up with clean water, if you will, or, positive and things of the light to help balance you out and get you strong again. And, re-nourish yourself properly, all right, with what that relationship was stripping out of you. All right. So with that being said, you guys, let's get into my list on reinforcement on not to go back to the narcissist. So this is basically reprogramming the way that you're thinking about the situation, giving you stuff to consider and think about that's definitely going to make you want to pivot. Okay. So number one on here, think about the ending and not the beginning. A lot of people go back to the narcissist because they're thinking about the love bomb. Of course. Now that trauma bond is getting a dopamine hit because it's releasing this hormone and it's making it feel good. And if you have even a drop of hope inside of you that this could be sincere, you could end up in a danger zone. So you need to think about the endings. And the endings with the narcissist is the discard. The endings are the devalue and the discard parts. Think about that, because that's the true person. Not when a person puts on a phony mask and tries to circle back around and minimize what they did or not even acknowledge what they did. And that's the audacity. Ignorance breeds audacity, and they are full of it. Okay. Narcissists have the most audacity ever. They do some crazy stuff and they sleep really good at night. But think about the ending, you guys, more than the beginning. All right. Think about the ending, that discard, how the person is abandoning you, how the person is devaluing you. Think about that. Well, if you want to think about the beginning, if you insist on it, think about how fake that was. Think about how the person is playing with your emotions and gassing your head up and pretending to be something, how they lured you in to that situation. If you need to think about that, think about it as really the love bomb phase, not no honeymoon phase. You should never be in a situation where you have to wait for someone to love bomb you to get relief from their abuse, when that's still abuse, because they're still being phony and fake and being manipulative. All of it's abuse, even that love bomb, because it's not really a true honeymoon phase. So think about the ending, but if you need to think about the beginning, then think about it for what it really was. All right. Number 2, you guys, think about what you can now recapture and gain. So if I stay away from the narcissist, what am I recapturing and gaining versus what I would be giving up if I go back? You have an opportunity right now to recapture your peace and happiness. You have an opportunity to really just recapture yourself, because this person wants you to be living for them. They want you to be their puppet, flying monkey, whatever, their flunky. That's crazy, right? But that's true. Is their way or the highway. So you're not living authentically for yourself at all. You're living for them. So you actually have an opportunity now to recapture your true purpose in your true life. And why would you want to give that up? Number 3, and this one is going to hurt, but you know what? Sometimes you need to lean on that hurt so that you don't forget. And sometimes I feel like, God allows you to feel a certain level of pain because he doesn't want you to forget it. Like, why did you have to go through that? Well, hopefully now you won't forget it. They took it to the max, chances are. When this person discarded you and devalued you and discarded you, they took it to the max. They probably did an overkill situation, went overboard. No mercy, no grace, no respect. It's almost probably cringy the way that they dealt with you after you may have had sincere love or sincere friendship or goodwill towards them. How the person turned around and stabbed you in the back and twisted it. Are you kidding me? Why would we want to go back to that? Like, sometimes it gets so low what they do that all you can really do is just walk away and shake your head like, bro, seriously? That's what we're doing? Like, that's where we're at? You're willing to do that? Because you weren't willing to do that to them. But they're willing to do that to you. They chose to do it. They enjoyed doing it. It made them happy. That was their happiness. That's their content. Hurting you, making you cry, betraying you, that made them feel good. And you can never forget that. That's something someone should never be able to come back from with you, because you're not their God. They can come back from it with God. Yeah, let them go repent with God. Hey, they can even be a better person with someone else if that is not going to happen with a narcissist, but I'm just saying. But they should never be able to come back from that with you. They took it to the max, you guys, and unjustly meaning you didn't even deserve that shit. So, but they did it. They did it, you guys, and you can never forget that. So let them stay canceled forever. They deserve that. They've earned it. They've more than earned it. They've probably been earned it a long time ago, but you were forgiving them under false pretenses. Which takes me to number 4, you guys. They're liabilities. These people are liabilities. How much stuff have they sabotaged for you? How many things did they intercept and delay in your life? How much harder did they make it for you? Like, life has enough challenges than to willingly let a toxic person, willingly let a person with a dark cloud, willingly let a person that wants to destroy you and bring you down and tarnish you and mess up your life, willingly have a person around you that wishes you no good. Like, this person, these people literally hate you for your light because it's not theirs. They're jealous of it. They're jealous and they're envy. They're raging with it. So these people are extreme liabilities. They become embarrassments. The way that this person have you looking crazy, you telling people you love them, you're down with them, you guys are best friends, this is your whatever, your best this, your best that, your spouse. You put them in the ultimate position and they turn around and piss on it and embarrass you. These people are the extreme Judases. It should literally be awkward that they would even have the audacity to try to even come back and think they could have you in a certain way or have you in any way again. You just can't undo the levels of disgrace and filth and just no integrity or character. You can't undo stuff like that, nor should you want to. And that's a good thing. When someone shows you who they are, believe it. You have to believe it. And unfortunately, a lot of times we don't believe it the first time. And that's why they say in domestic violence situations, it's taking women like 8 times to get out of it. And that's really sad, but it's a reality. But they are liabilities, you guys. Liabilities. And you should be trying to fill your life with assets. Once you find out someone's a liability, they need to go. Number 5, these people come with pain and trauma. That's what they're coming with. Not love and light, pain and trauma. Do you need to be retriggering your trauma bond? Do you need to be putting yourself in more psychological and emotional pain? Shoot, could be physical, sexual, financial, because those are all the ways someone can abuse you. They come with pain and trauma. And the thing about it is it gets worse. It gets worse. And do you know why? Because you work to heal an injury. And that's one of the things on my list. It's like you're working to heal this injury. And you did all this work and you have scar tissue there. Let's think of it as scar tissue being there. Would you want to have that same injury again after you went through this extreme healing process? It could be even worse now because you're busting open the scar tissue. Is not even your first time having this injury. You're making it even worse. And it may not, it's not healing the same every time you reopen it and have that same injury over and over. So are you hungry to learn? Are you that hungry to learn again? Because a lot of times God didn't intend for you to be in a cycle that long. He was hoping you would have got it at a certain point. He didn't intend for you to stay in it that long. It wasn't supposed to take that much out of you. You weren't supposed to have to deal with that much devastation. But sometimes we're very stubborn because we have a lot of toxic programming, from who knows where. It could be from, your childhood or just how you think what your perceptions of love is and loyalty. Some people are loyal to a fault, like people can be disloyal to them, but you're loyal to the title, because it's this person, they get to do this unlimitedly, But yeah, are you hungry for that? Now, I used to be a Christian, and I know like in the Bible, it's like, forgive this person 7 times 77 or whatever. And just forgiving someone doesn't mean giving them re-access, by the way. But I'm a Muslim though now, and we don't have to forgive people. Islam doesn't teach us that. I mean, it does teach us to not exacerbate situations, meaning we don't add flames to fires, but we are allowed to defend ourselves, and we are not forced to forgive our offenders. As a matter of fact, there's something called hawk, and you deserve to have it. Like if someone wronged you, you absolutely deserve to have your hawk, meaning you deserve to have justice. You deserve to defend yourself. So they have to go and pray to Allah for forgiveness. Not to make this all religious, but yeah, we can't be hungry for that. And the part of you that would be hungry for it is the toxic side of you, is your trauma bond. But like I said, God probably didn't intend for you to be in it that long. All right. So let's stop re-hurting ourselves, basically, and forfeiting our progressions, healing from PTSD and depression. What about all the tears you had late at night? Like you had to really fight for yourself and really scrape yourself up, because the levels of betrayal that these people tend to bring into your life are absolutely, could be astronomical. And yeah, you'd be scraping yourself up. Like because it's such a 180 on what you thought this person is once that mask really drops. So you came back from all of that just to subject yourself to that again. Like, you have a very big heart, but don't let it be to your detriment. It's beautiful that your heart is that resilient, but you're going to keep punishing your heart for that, which is why a lot of times empaths feel like they're cursed. You're not cursed. You're not cursed at all. But you have to know where to send that energy in the right direction. Sure, if you have a big heart, it's a beautiful thing. It's always a beautiful thing. It's going to feel like a curse because you're always giving it to the wrong source. Of course it's going to feel like a curse. You have to be more discerning. Everybody doesn't deserve that level of love and care and forgiveness and loyalty. Everybody don't deserve that. As a matter of fact, you'll find that very few people deserve it. And good evening to you, Carla McMillan. I see your message in the chat. So this next part is spiritual. Are you ready and willing to invite demons back into your life? Like, you just got it out. You know, they come with demons. Their vessels are filled with attachments. And when they come into your life, they bring them to you. You know, are you willing to invite that back into your home and into your life? And also the aspect of them being an energy vampire? Nah. You already had to detox yourself from all the demons. And they're already trying to do stuff from a distance. So, yeah, just say no to regressing and, you know, forfeiting your promotion. That's basically like flunking out of your final exam or dropping out in the last quarter right when you're about to be promoted. Because that's their timing tends to be then. They will come into your life when you're about to get a promotion, honestly. Yes, because that's the best time for the enemy to get you, because they're like, we don't want that light source to go to the next level, because when you go to the next level, your light is getting brighter with each level because you're getting more wisdom, you're getting stronger. You know, they don't want you to get stronger. So let's stop forfeiting our promotions and taking that invitation to retake a course or flunk out of a course or drop out of the whole thing, really. And here's the thing, you guys, the universe is working with you to balance out the situation, but you're making their job really hard when you keep going back. You know, it's like you're pissing on the grace that they're trying to give you. Because a lot of people don't even make it out. Like, you made it out. I'm not saying you didn't take any losses, but you can heal yourself and you can get back everything except for the time. But when the universe is working to balance it, like, I know there have been times when I literally intercepted people's karma, bad karma. I didn't know it. You know, I was doing it out of ignorance. But learn from what I'm telling you right now. You'll be intercepting their karma, because the number one karma is not having access to your energy. But let's not be ungrateful. Let's not be in an ungrateful energy or working out of our ignorance when the universe is trying to actually help and work to balance it out. You're delaying the fullest level of justice that you could receive by going back, because you're stepping in the way of it. Carla says, never go back to a narcissist. They will try to hurt you. Absolutely. And that's one of the things further down the list, which is basically, are you ready for revenge? Because I don't care, you know, how nice they make it sound when they first come back. They're going to revenge you. They're going to want revenge because you got away. And they realized once you got away that they hadn't done enough on you. They hadn't gotten you enough. So they're like, you know, the demon inside of them that's on assignment to tear you down or take you out spiritually, sometimes physically, it realizes it didn't do enough to you. So it's going to turn it up. Okay. It's going to turn it up to get a better job done this time. The next thing, you guys, are you willing to betray yourself for your own toxicity? You know, because when we go into situations that are less than, we're literally betraying ourselves. We're abandoning ourselves. We're lying to ourselves because we're choosing to, step into denial. And these things might not sound nice to hear, but it's true. People coddle the survivors, and you don't need to be coddled. You need to actually be told what you need to hear, and it's not always what you want to hear. It's not. But, betraying yourself isn't worth it for anybody. Abandoning yourself, that's all you have. Everywhere you go is you. Lying to yourself, that's never going to benefit you. So you're basically betraying yourself for your toxicity. All right. And that toxicity could be an entity in you even. You could have a demon inside of you, in that part of yourself that you need to be getting out of you and rebuking away from you and detoxing out of your life and out of your home. So the next thing, and this next one is pretty serious, you guys, and I would never want to do this, but every time you go back to a narcissist, you're basically stepping out of the fullest extent of divine protection. You are, because God does give us free will on this earth, and I had to say the fullest extent, because I'm not going to say God can't protect you at all or try his best to protect you, but it goes back to what I was saying when I was talking about the universe trying to balance things out for you. Well, you're getting in the way. If he already revealed it to you, he lets you see that this person didn't love you, didn't really care for you, wasn't down for you, wasn't a friend, wasn't, your spouse, wasn't really your family, or whatever the case may be. He's revealed that to you. And now you're going to put yourself back in the presence of this person and let them back into your personal space. It's one thing for a person to try to evil eye you from a distance, or, try to figure out what you got going on. And it's another thing to let them come right on back into your personal space. You're telling them all your business again. They're close enough to where they can kiss you, which means they can really do a lot of harm and damage. They're welcome back into your home and everything they bring with that. You're stepping out of the fullest extent of divine protection for sure. And that's a sad day when people do that. All right. Especially when it's been revealed to you, literally, in the most literal sense. So the next one is what we already talked about is, are you ready for their revenge? The bait and switch and them taking you as a joke and a sucker, all of this. I don't tolerate this. I would never stand for that. Like, narcissists don't care what you say. They watch what you do. They don't care what you say. It sounds all good. But do you really protect yourself? Do you really have the proper boundaries? Or can I just steamroll them whenever I feel like it? All I have to do is tell you a few sweet things. All I have to do is give you some crocodile tears. All I have to do is spend some money on you. All I have to do is apologize to your family and friends. Like, it should be things that people shouldn't be able to come back from, period. I don't care if you apologize to God. Like, when I say come back from it, like, be able to come back and connect with me in a certain way. You've lost that privilege for life. Because if they did it to you once, they will do it to you again. I have yet to see people that would betray in one way and you give them another chance and they don't do it again. I haven't seen it yet. And we're talking about a narcissist who has a habitual pattern that they constantly run off of. They're not even, it's subconscious at this point. The whole cycle of abuse, they're on autopilot, you guys. This is not even personal. This is how they're doing, with most people, except for the people that maybe the bigger narcissists in their life that they want to suck up to. But yeah, are you ready for the revenge?
We're about to die.
Look, I'm on a live. Out. Don't interrupt it for that. Don't interrupt it for that. For a freaking tablet. I don't know. Me and Nia should have chargers in their room. I don't know what they're doing with their chargers. But yeah, are you ready for their revenge and to be looked at as a joke? And then even, and the thing about it, you guys, it doesn't matter about how they're looking at you if it's not true. That's, let me separate that. Because when I say as far as them taking you for a joke, it's just based off of how you're literally presenting, how you're literally behaving. Now, they could still be taking you for a joke or thinking you're a joke when you're standing on business. That's something completely different. That's just them being in denial at that point. That's them thinking they know you better than you know yourself. That's them wanting to not accept their defeat. That's them still holding on to hope that they'll be able to abuse you again one day. So that's different. But if they're taking you a joke because they're actually still able to just come and literally directly play in your face again because you've welcomed them back, hey, that's something completely different right there. And that's you know, you don't want that. Right. Tanya Morgan. Yeah, she says, hey, Lakia, haven't heard you in a while. I know, but it's glad to see you here because it's good reinforcement, you know? Because the thing about it is you're never going to stop interacting with people. You're never going to stop interacting with people. So a channel like this is going to be good for you, whether you're actively in narcissistic abuse or not, because it's good reinforcement because you're going to meet people. And some of them will be shady. Some of them will be narcissistic. Some of them will be actually narcissists. Because someone can be a jerk and not be a narcissist. Someone can be messed up and actually not be a narcissist, you know. But yeah. So we're not going to be trading our freedom to go back to jail. You know, like if life is a classroom, it's like you're throwing yourself back into a boot camp. And some people don't even make it out of boot camp because it's too severe, right? They don't even pass it. Like, isn't once enough? Like, who would want to redo the Army boot camp once they was able to get through that thing one time? Who wants to willingly sign up to do that again? All right. And who wants to give up on themselves, give up on their legacy, give up on their future and how far they've come? That's something you should never want to do. Hi. Hold on a minute here. I'm wondering if for once I should go ahead and make this 2 topics because I think that would be cool too. Because I started writing this down earlier and I'm going to share it, but I could have sworn I had 3 pages for the stay away topic though. I'm looking for the 3rd page. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't a 3rd page. I think I took a 3rd page out and I didn't write on it. I'm just making sure I went through all of them. Because the next topic that I wanted to talk about, and I think I'm going to allow it for this video because it ties in the reinforcement on not to come back to the narcissist and some of the sticky reasons on why they do come back. Beyond obvious reasons. Yeah, I think I just took it out and I didn't write on it because I don't see it and it would have been together. Yeah. Because today I was just channeling a lot of messages, meaning a lot of stuff was just dropping into me. So, but yeah, I guess I didn't do a 3rd page. I just thought I did though, because it should be right here. All right, you guys, since you're still on here and we talked about reinforcement about how not to go, and I'll change the topic of this too, or the title of the live chat. These are some reasons why they would come back. Number 1, they don't take rejection very well. You know, and let's just get out of fairy tale land, right? Toxic empaths, they think because they're really sorry, and I hope no one is on that universe. You know, they're coming back because they're really sorry and they've changed their ways. It's never going to be that. It's never going to be that. So the first thing I wrote down was they don't take rejection very well. And you could say, well, you know what? They're the ones that discarded me. But if you let it be, you rejected them back. You agreed with it. So that can be a form of rejection to them because you didn't fight it or you allowed that discard to go, right? So they don't take rejection very well. They're going to come back because they have some abandonment issues too, especially if they really cared about the supply. All right. Another reason why a narcissist would come back to you is they're a rebel without a real cause. And when I say come back to you, it could also just be like they're just not leaving you alone. This person can literally be a rebel without a cause. And this is happening in the smear campaign. And you might say, Lakia, they do have a cause. And when I say a rebel without a cause, meaning not a just reason, they're little fake, phony reasons of trying to protect their image and trying to continue to abuse you. They're a rebel without a cause. And it can really turn into a rebel without a cause when you're really standing on business, meaning like you don't care about them anymore. Like you literally moved on from the situation, is not hurting you. They're a rebel without a cause if they still keep trying to pull on your energy and talk about you and smear you or whatever they're doing to desperately try to get back into your energy. They're a rebel without a cause at that point. And how about they come back because they're going through some setbacks? Of course, if their life isn't going well and you were their fixer in any type of way, whether it was financially, mentally, relationally, sexually, something, they could be experiencing some setbacks. And it's going to remind them, or they're going to think of the last time where they felt balanced out. Because narcissists, they like to fill themselves with other people's energies. And that's why I always talk about them having problems with their identity. And that's why they're always taking on so many different identities. Because they don't really want to tap into themselves, because then they're going to have to face all that trauma and unhealed aspects of themselves. So it's much easier for them to, self-delude themselves and black out on them abandon themselves really, and fill themselves up with other people's energy. So they're experiencing these setbacks. And there's a lot of reasons for them to be experiencing these setbacks. Number one, they got hella bad karma, right? And number two, they keep creating more bad karma. Number three, they're living their life so toxically. These words are like, they're going to have setbacks. They're not going about things the right way. They're not building anything on a solid foundation. Everything is on sand with them. So what do you think what your end results are going to be? So they're going to be experiencing some setbacks. And it could even be a health setback, and they need a nurse or somebody to take care of them. Or they're thinking back to when someone actually genuinely had their back. And this is probably the person they betrayed, So, of course, they're going to come back at that point. Another reason why narcissists would come back is they lost control and reared off of their evil plans with you. Like they just went above and beyond. They didn't mean to really overkill. They did mean it, but they didn't mean for you to have the boundaries that you were going to have. Like they weren't done messing up your life. They weren't done using you, This is a reason why they would come back. They want to do more evil, which is really sad. And narcissists want to come back because they want to actually just do more evil. I didn't do enough. I wish I could have did more. I wish I could have stole more. I wish I could have been a bigger energy vampire. I wish I could have benefited more from that person. Like this is what they're thinking. I left too soon. I could have got more. I shouldn't have been that hard on them. Now they won't let me get back in. They're going to think this way, which is really messed up. So, but the good thing about it is if you have the proper boundaries, that type of stuff isn't going to work based off of what we just talked about in the first half of this video. You'll be on a different vibration and they won't even be able to connect with you like they did before, because you're not even in that energy anymore. Whatever that energy was when they first met you, you grew from that. And that vulnerability won't be there. So they definitely may have realized that they missed an opportunity to use you. So they're not coming back because they're sincerely sorry. They want to do it better. No, I realized I could have used this person and made out a little better with the energy or whatever that energy consisted of. All right. And so, of course, they might be at a crossroad and they know that you'd be the one that would be there for them better than anyone else. So, this narcissist could be crashing out, you guys. Because you got to think about it. Just like you had the trauma bond, so did they. So, there's a withdrawal that they could go through as well. But, it's worse for them because they're not actually doing the work. So, they're just going to look to soothe it in some way, to reactivate it, basically. All right. This is sad. This is really messed up. But we kind of were talking about they might want to come back just to like twist the knife in your back again. Break your soul before promotion. We talked about that in the first half of the video. A narcissist timing their comebacks to where you're about to come into a certain season. You're about to get promoted. And a lot of people also experience a narcissist coming when they feel vulnerable, when they're experiencing loss. But this is also a time of promotion because usually it's during those periods when you're experiencing the losses, the sun's about to come back out again. And it's also periods when you just gotten the promotion and they want you to sabotage it and risk it as well. You just got some steam behind your business or anything of that sort. Here comes this narcissist to distract you and throw that off. This person can literally still be falling apart over you, but don't take that in the most sentimental way. And that's, similar to crashing out. But the crashing out part is more so needing the energy, but falling apart over you because it's not like they didn't like you. It could be that they liked you, but they don't know how to love, and they know that they've lost a good thing. So this person is falling apart over you. They still might want to follow your lead. And this is like, especially in a friendship tip where this person was a copycat or you were always giving them a lot of good ideas, or, if the codependency was really high, you might have been like organizing their whole life, like putting them all the way together, because empaths, they like to take on projects. So they still might want to follow your lead. They may realize that following your lead gave them better results. Their life was better when they were following your lead. Of course, you were intercepting a lot of their bad choices and, maybe helping them along the way in a certain way, and improving their images and lifting their careers up, and just them being close to your energy gives them access to your good karma and your love and light. So when you're a blessed person and you bring people near you, they benefit from your good energy automatically, whether they deserve to or not. And this is all the more reason why we should be very mindful about who we allow to sit at our table and come near us. Because those people, they just want to siphon that. They want to take your good energy and give you their bad energy, like dump that on you. And energies can be reversed, and you start feeling like, you start sharing their karma and they start taking some of yours, actually, because they're in close proximity. This is a real thing. It is a real thing, especially because they're energy vampires, and especially in these situations with the copycat. So they still might want to follow your lead. They want to come back so you can fix their life again, tell them what they should be doing, how they should be doing it, when they should be doing it. Yeah, because all narcissists aren't that authoritative. Some of them are very remedial and they don't know. Maybe you were levels ahead of them and you dated down or whatever the case may be, and you were lifting them up into your lifestyle and showing them the ropes, showing them how to behave in a certain environment. So, and that was benefiting them. You're good for their image. You're good for their image, because if you're a good person, and I talked about this in another live chat on when you're actually vetting people and getting to know them, don't always just go off of who they hang with, because sometimes good people unknowingly attach themselves to really toxic people, i.e. narcissists. But narcissists know that they can use your good name. They know that they can use your good reputation, and that the typical person who isn't that emotionally mature or that's not even overthinking the situation will give that narcissist credit. Well, if they're with them, they must be half decent. They must be a pretty decent person, because that's a really good person, right? People are going to think that. So before you let people start, surfing off of your good name and your good energy and your brand or whatever the case may be, you might want to just really vet that person and really find out, you guys. Because, like I said, like I've been saying for years, they're shapeshifters, and the identity that you gave them is way better than the one they had before you met them. So at the end of the day, the reason why these people are coming back is never from love and light. It's always something self-serving, and it's always something to drain or use you or to harm you. So it's just never worth it. It's never worth it. I'm just looking through my paperwork, you guys, to see if I want to talk about any of the other stuff that I started jotting down today. Yeah, I'm not going to do this right now, but I started jotting down clues, making a video about, how when it's actually time to let a situation go, okay? Because some people, they struggle with that. I also started jotting down when others are trying to sabotage you and your destiny. That'll be a video that I'm going to do. Yeah. Yeah. But just keep empowering yourself, you guys. Yourself, not the narcissist. Yourself. And don't take it personally, even if, these things are happening in personal relationships. These are things that I've said over and over. And just always remember, you are the highest person, in any room of a narcissist. So what are you coming down to their level for? There's no need to. There's no need to. And just learn how to transmute the energy, you guys. That negative, dark energy, their evil eyes, their intentions, whatever they try to take from you that belongs to you, go even harder at it. Transmute the energy. And you could do that. And that's how people take their pain and turn it into something beautiful. Like an artist go through a bad breakup and make this song and it becomes the record of the year. That person transmuted the energy, writing books, channeling it some way, or just letting it fuel you and letting it remind you of how far you come and where you're never going back to. So just learning how to transmute energy, you guys, because you don't have to sit. You could take that energy and turn it and use it for something positive. I mean, this whole channel is built off of me transmuting energy, period. I've made over 1,000 videos on this book, wrote 4 books, 5 books coming out this year. And I'll tell you about them because they're going to be self-help books to transmute energy. I take the pains that I go through, my betrayals, my growing pains and emotional maturity. I take it and I transmute it into something positive, and I make the lemons into lemonade. And that, to me, is making my pain worth something. Now, it's worth it automatically when I take the lesson, but I'm getting brownie points out of it by reaching back and teaching other people and turning it to even something more. But just at least taking that lesson, because it's transmuting into wisdom at that point. You're transmuting the pain into wisdom. It's like, I didn't go through that for nothing. There was a purpose for that. It refined me. It got me, it renewed my mind. It showed me the cracks in my foundation. Because we're not perfect either. There were things where we were slipping, where we were tripping, where we weren't walking in the appropriate self-love. Or it could have just been out of our own ignorance. You didn't even know. I didn't know what a narcissist was until well after my first narcissist. Like, I didn't even learn that word until well after. So, and that was in my 30s. But I've given coaching to people in their 70s when I was doing it. People in their 70s were just realizing what a narcissist is. So everybody's on their own journey, and every day people are learning what this is. And every day people are being born, and as they go through life, they're going to learn if they seek the knowledge. But don't let anybody take your right to smile, take your right to happiness. Those are the things that we have control over. It doesn't matter how many times someone tries to come back, they can only really do what you allow them to do to a certain extent. To a certain extent. Of course, someone can be a sniper on a building and shoot someone, like things. I'm not talking about like, abstract stuff like that, but I'm talking about in our personal relationships, generally speaking, people typically can only do what you let them do. And guarding yourself is the best thing. Guarding yourself is the best thing with your boundaries. So, for instance, if you know you don't want to have sex before marriage, you shouldn't be inviting people into your bedroom. They shouldn't be sitting on your bed. You guys probably need to stay out in public. And while people can have sex in public, that'll be less likely if that's not something you wanted to happen. So having the proper boundaries mean a lot. Being willing to walk away and stay away. You don't have to give anyone another chance. I don't even know what I was saying because the twins came in here. But we're talking about transmuting energy. What was I saying, you guys? Can someone remind me of what thought I just had? Yeah. Oh, the stuff that we have control over. Right. No one has the right to take that from you. Because these people they're pretty messed up. They want to take your destiny. They want to break your soul. They want to make it hard for you to do what you need to do, what you're called to do, for you to get the rewards of that. They want you to give up and be a zombie or worse. So I don't give anyone that type of control. Getting my anger is very expensive. People have to work so hard for it, they probably shouldn't even do it because certain people just can't even get that from me. So they would be wasting their time. But you need to be that way as well. And narcissists, once you know someone is a narcissist, those type of people, they're not allowed to get the emotional reaction because it's still an energy exchange. One thing getting from me. So I hope that this video helps somebody for their reinforcement or not to go back to a narcissist and why they tend to come back. These people are horrible, but, they get used for good things. And honestly, when you hold up a narcissist, you're holding them from the next person that need to learn their lesson. We kind of touched on it before when I was saying God didn't really intend for you to have to stay that long. Like he was like, oh, for goodness sake. I thought this person would have got it, And I'm not saying that for you to be hard on yourself, but I'm saying give yourself some grace and mercy. Like, don't be a sacrificial lamb. Don't be a glutton for punishments. Love is not supposed to hurt. The only type of love that I know of that hurts is the labor of love of childbirth. And childbirth can be painful, even with the epidural. That is the only, and that's why they say that's a labor of love, and that's fine. But that's it. Ain't nobody that's, other than that, love doesn't hurt. Toxicity does. So keep working on yourself and, just make sure you have the right perceptions on things like what is love really? What is a real friend? Or I have one friend. Period. And I'm cool with that because I don't need that. I'm an introvert. But yeah. But I have the proper definitions of these things. I don't just throw them around. You know, I know an associate from a friend, a confidant from a Judas, okay? And I'm willing to see the red flags. I'm willing to see it. And I'm not only willing to see it, I'm willing to act on it on my behalf. I'm willing to put my best interests first. You know, if you're willing to do those type of things, narcissists will never have a chance because you're going to see that you're getting the short end of the stick. You're going to speak up for yourself. Your boundaries are going to be too high. They're going to have to work too hard. They're just going to ghost you, which is fine. You know, and people are ghosting me. They probably didn't have good intentions for you. Or they know that they can't run the game on you. And they gave up. You got a toxic person to give up on you. You know? That's a good thing. You got to see when things are a good thing. But when you have abandonment issues, you're going to automatically think negatively about stuff. Let them go. Let people leave. You don't need a lot of people in life. In this social media age, people think you need so much. You need so much stimulation from others. You need other people to see this and that. Not really, unless you're marketing a business. You don't need all of that. Most of them are just monitoring spirits, just trying to be nosy and probably jealous of you. Don't even really like you or F with you like that. So we have to really get into reality and see what really matters in this world and in this life and keep our eyes on that, you guys. And a tough experience with a narcissist is not the end of your world. As a matter of fact, it's usually, when you allow it to be, a turning point to a very beautiful time for you. Even if it doesn't feel like it on day 1 or 2. You know, it ends up being a beautiful thing. I've seen so many survivors cross over or get over the hump, meaning like, you know, they get to a certain point in their healing process where it don't hurt like it did. It don't hurt at all, as a matter of fact. They can talk about it without crying. They're not feeling triggered when they talk about their experience. As a matter of fact, they don't even need to talk about it anymore. You know, some get to the point where it's just not even, you know, obviously we're not defined by it, but they don't even make it a part of their story. You know, they don't even make it a part of their story. And that's fine. And it's not a denial thing because I'm taking a lesson and I'm leaving the rest. You know, it's usually the narcissist that want to hold on so bad. You're like, look, I don't even want to be associated with that anymore. You know, you get to a point in your healing process where you want to disassociate with all of that. You don't want to even be tied to it. You don't want people to think of you when they think of that narcissist, because you're not. But people are going to think what they want to think. It's more about you doing that, you know. When you're disassociating and stuff, that's like detachment right there. Something that narcissists aren't good at. They're not good at detachment, surprisingly. For them to be discarding people, because they're not really discarding them. It's not, you know, we probably should use another word, honestly, because they're not truly a lot of times discarding people. You know, not to say there aren't situations where people want to get in and just get out and move on. Like we can compare that to a player that just wants to hit and run. Like, oh, once I sleep with you, that's it. If I can sleep with you one time, bam, I accomplished my goal. Now they're discarding you, and that could be final to them. Yeah. But usually narcissists, they're not doing that with people. They want to come back around more than not. So I see Cynthia is here. Hi, Cynthia. And she says she needs help with healing. And Cynthia says, I told you he got new supply in another country, pregnant, and is moving on Monday, leaving my daughter behind. Me and my daughter were so shocked. Daughter is heartbroken. He is discarding us for this supply in the other country, doing everything he didn't do for us. How old is your daughter again, Cynthia? $19. Okay. And in college? Okay. Is he financially paying her tuition or anything? And will he continue to do that type of thing? She was close with him. Okay. Hmm. But you believe and he's not helping her financially. Okay. And you do believe he's a narcissist anyway? No child support because he quit his job to move. Okay. So this is right. He might actually be doing you a favor here. Anytime, I'm just going to be honest with you, Cynthia. First of all, your child is over 18, which is great. But anytime a narcissist puts distance between you and them, it's a good thing. And I know she was close with him, but was he a good example to her anyway? Like, so he wasn't, you don't feel that he was abusing your daughter then? Mm-hmm. Right. A lot of times they're doing us a favor though, Cynthia, when they put the distance. And you said he's not working right now, so he's just trying to seal a roof over his head. This girl probably has some type of security, a home, and she's willing to take care of him. So he's just trying to secure a housing situation. That's what it sounds like to me. That's the next best thing. And he's love bombing this woman, but narcissists are horrific to pregnant women. So once he gets over there in that country and maybe, I don't know, maybe he might convince her to get married. Once he locks it in with her, he's going to drop the mask. If not before then, because once he gets her pregnant, he's going to think he has her. And she's going to feel like, oh, I'm having a baby. I need him in the baby's life, But Sleeping Fox gave you the advice of get plugged into a great church with your daughter. Yeah, get a support system. Be each other's support system. I mean, did he try to make any arrangements to say, okay, I'm moving to another country, but I'll be visiting every so often. We can FaceTime whenever you feel like it on WhatsApp. He's not saying none of that, Cynthia, to your daughter. Right. She's great supply to him. She's great supply. It sounds like a little bit of a pick-me energy there, or a lot of bit of a pick-me energy, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said he is doing me a favor by leaving to another woman in another country. Yeah, because if he's willing to do that to you, what does he care about you anyway? This is exposing his true, how in his mind, you guys are very replaceable, or how in his mind, you guys aren't the priority. I know it hurts that he's doing this, but he's doing you a favor by showing you he would even do that to you. The fact that he would even do that to you, Cynthia, it tells you everything you need to know about where you stand and how much he really cares about you and your daughter. To him, and I'm not trying to hurt you further, but the truth is, to him, you guys are old news. And in his mind, you're not willing to take care of him. You can't put him on like this other girl. She's the new shiny thing in his life. And it hurts to hear that, but it's true. Are you legally still married to him or something? She said, Cynthia says, yes, he was horrific to me. Mm-hmm. When you were pregnant, he started to cheat. Mm-hmm. Which is what he's probably going to do to her. He may hide it from her, but he's probably going to do the same stuff. His mom told me his girlfriend does not want to get married. Right. I wonder why. Because she might have a lot of money and assets, and she doesn't want to lose it to the narcissist. She may not be that stupid. She may be willing. Maybe she's using him to have a baby. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she's using him as for sex and stuff. You just don't know what the real arrangement is. She might be a narcissist too. He might be meeting his match. He might be thinking, She's self-serving. She's helping him get the job because she's having a baby. Of course she wants him to have a job. If she has to help him get the job to get the money from him, yeah, she's going to set him up because it's to her advantage at that point, right? Cynthia's saying, no, he said he wasn't sure when he would be back. Right. Because he doesn't really care about seeing you guys again like that. He's focusing on starting a new life. Yeah. Trying to get my daughter to go there. No. Yeah. I wouldn't send her. I mean, she's an adult technically, but I wouldn't be sending her to another country with them. His mother told me he misses me and wants to be with me. His mom must be lying. Or he could be lying to her and painting a different picture with her to save his image in his mother's eye. Because if he's not working and stuff, his own mother might be giving him money and stuff. So he don't want to look like a loser. He's probably been, telling her all types of stuff about you negatively, making things your fault. Well, I'm not with Cynthia because of this. And, Cynthia says, no, he didn't want to marry me when I got pregnant. He said we would, then changed his mind. Right. Oh my gosh, Cynthia, I literally wrote down a video today. It was more geared towards Black women because it's more prevalent there, but about giving their womb up before getting the marriage. Because even the marriage doesn't even guarantee you're going to stay with the person. And especially if it's a narcissist that you're marrying, because they don't even take marriage the same, Yeah. So he probably don't care about, he may care about marrying her if she has assets and stuff because he's setting her up for a bigger payday. There are even men nowadays that are trying to, of course, have babies with, I overheard a guy saying women are about to start paying child support. I'm like, what? Whoa, that's crazy. So there could be men actually setting women up for the child support, wanting to get custody of the kid and have the woman pay child support for that. So who you have a kid with in 2025, honey, people got to be careful with that. And I wouldn't advise any woman to be giving up her womb without marriage. And even then, I probably would go through a probationary period to see how the marriage is feeling 6 months in, a year in. Make sure you feel like y'all copacetic, especially, if you're doing it a certain way, you haven't never lived together and stuff like this and that. Cynthia says, I think she is a narcissist. He loves female narcissists. They abuse him and he loves it. Keep going back to them. Right, because they allow him to be emotionally detached. They allow him to be a runner because they're in the same energy. They understand each other's energy. They're bouncing off of each other's energy. They're thriving off of the drama that they're creating together. And then they get together and blame the other people they're cheating with to be the problem. Like, it's pretty tough. It's just a whole lot of toxic, a lot of Jerry Springer stuff going on in those type of relationships. She might be. Sleeping Fox says she's definitely a narcissist. And he might have met his match. He might be walking right into his karma, Cynthia. That's the funny thing. He might be walking right into his karma. Here he is thinking he's about to use this woman, and she's setting him up big time. She is setting him up in another country too. If he ain't from that country and she's the one that knows that country, and he's going to try to get citizenship and all this and that, she is setting him up because he's basically going to her domain at that point. Cynthia says this woman is a major red flag, but you know what? They'll have their possible lessons to learn through each other, but if they're both narcissists, they're not going to take them anyway. Cynthia says, what woman would think it's okay for him to leave his daughter and family behind? I mean, does she think that's good parenting? Well, the whole thing is he'll get with her and tell him all types of stuff to the contrary. He could be telling her that you guys haven't been together in ages, or that you don't want to be with him anyway, or you guys don't want him around. You know, the stuff that they'll feed the new person, they'll say whatever they have to say to make it look justifiable that they're running off with them. So that's the thing. You don't know what he's telling her to make her feel like it's okay to go along with this. But if she is a narcissist, and she doesn't have the character and integrity anyway, she's not going to have any loyalty to anything but her flesh, and her emotions. Cynthia says they have been together 6 years off and on, long distance, both seeing so many other people say, oh, okay, so this ain't even new. This ain't even new, Cynthia. They've been seeing each other off and on for 6 years. Well, where do you fit into that, though? So every time he was discarding you, or even while he was with you, she was always somewhere in the background. So she's trying to upgrade from the side person to the main person. Crystal Head says, I started asking myself, was I the narcissist? Why did you ask yourself that, Crystal? Cynthia says, yes, she's German. And Crystal says, yep, I fell for it. Cynthia, okay, they're having a combo. Cynthia says, yes, she was there. And when she broke up with him, he come back to me. Right. So he was just triangulating you guys off and on. He was triangulating. So I don't know, Cynthia, just listening to this, I'm wondering why you kept a certain space for him in your life after a certain point, after he revealed his toxicity, where it sounds like you were staying for your daughter because you keep mentioning the family. The good thing is you guys at least got her to age 18 now. Hopefully you can, now that he's in another country, the universe is trying to help you disconnect from him in a certain manner. Because you don't owe him your loyalty and he's not your husband. But it sounds like he could have been preventing you from actually getting a husband that would actually, or having someone that would marry you, because you being in that situationship, because that's what it sounds like, for sure, a very toxic situationship. Yeah. Cynthia, I'm not going to say, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm not going to say that he prevented you from that because you agreed to it. He can't prevent you from that. The boundaries that you didn't have, your unwillingness to walk away from him a long time ago is what actually prevented that in the past. Because that's not to say that you can't still get a husband in this lifetime if that's something you care about, But he didn't prevent it. It's better if you take that accountability, because if he prevented, then he can keep preventing it, right? He can keep your emotions and keep renting space in your head, and you keep thinking about this family dynamic that's not even cemented or even relevant in his mind, So I think the universe is trying to do you a favor, Cynthia, and putting a lot of distance between you and his energy finally. And you can let him go in a certain way. Yes, you guys did have a child together, but that's crazy. In the whole relationship, he didn't even get married or anything. And now it's just on to the next. And it's been on to the next because he's been doing this one for 6 years, and who knows who he was cheating with before that, Cynthia. Cynthia says he always comes back around promising this and that. Right. But who has time for empty promises, Cynthia? How many times does he get to tell you what you want to hear and just never have accountability for providing that? And when is it your time to say, well, actually, in that case, it wouldn't even be a conversation for me. You know, there are other types of situations with people who aren't narcissists where you might say the boundaries of being in my life are this. Like if you were dating for marriage, you have a timeline in your head. You ain't got to say it out loud because you don't put pressure on people. Let people do what they want to do so you would know what they would rather do. And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. And then he just always future faked. It sounded like he was just doing a bunch of future faking. But if you know that you're dating for marriage, ladies, have a time in your head. And that's it. If he wasn't, men, if you watch videos on men who got married, they will tell you 9 times out of 10, I knew it was my wife the first day I saw her. There's no dragging it out. It's not going to take all that time. For a man that's emotionally available and in a ready position, he's going to move on it quick. He's going to move on it quick. Even a narcissist, whether they're taking a marriage serious or not, if they want to marry you, they're going to marry you, period. You're not going to have to twist nobody's arm to marry you. And I wouldn't allow anybody to waste my time. That person would have a certain amount of time to do it. And if that time is come and gone, then it's bye. That's it. This isn't going to work out. It's not even going to be an ultimatum. There's no ultimatum. You know what? I've given enough time to this. Marriage is really important to me. And as a result, I'm going to have to look into other options now. Bam. There's no way I'm giving people that amount of time. Crystal Head said, we got quick in. He divorced me in 9 months. And he moved out and started moving on. And then he came back. I got pregnant. I lost the baby at 5 months. And he discarded me again, saying he wasn't happy. And that was even worse, right? Like we talk about it, like letting them come back. And it was a worse situation. Because now there's a miscarriage and a discard when you're feeling probably vulnerable after that. Yeah. So let that be the last time, Crystal. Let that be the last time. And then he divorced you in 9 months. Wow. So, yeah, I wouldn't allow that to happen again for sure. Like, you know, it sounded like you had 2 quick cycles, but a lot can happen in a little bit of time, as you can see, Crystal. You know, I'm sorry that you had that miscarriage, but yeah. Yeah, it probably was a divine intervention. They closed your womb up. They was like, oof, we're not going to do that much to her. And that baby, you know, spiritually, that baby can come back to you through a healthy relationship, Crystal. Believe that, you know. And then now you can give your child a better father. Whew, girl, be happy about that in a certain way. And I know you're like, you crazy. You want me to be happy about a miscarriage? It was a divine intervention because he would have been a horrible father and a horrible partner to you. So in the spiritual realm, you know, your child can come back through a good man this time. So it matters so much. Being a single mother is, you know, it's a lot of work. You have to sacrifice a lot of things, Crystal. So you'll get another opportunity with a good man. Right. He wasn't happy. So selfish. And 5 months is pretty far in to have the miscarriage too, Crystal. That's rough. 5 months is almost to the 6-month part. So that's a lot. I know that must have been traumatizing. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. His negative energy probably was not even good for you in the pregnancy, honestly. I've watched all type of just spiritual videos on just being careful in pregnancy, about letting people touch your bellies and who you reveal your pregnancy to. These people actually will try to make you miscarriage and stuff. It's so sad. And his energy is just probably wasn't even good to even be around. But I'm so sorry you experienced that, because 5 months is past the first trimester. Cynthia says, how would you handle this? No contact? Yeah, what do you have to contact them for? You know? I mean, sometimes there's child support orders when kids are in college and the parent has to pay, but he has no job. It sounds like there is no child support order, and that you're not really seeking it. And then you're not his wife. So what loose ends do you really have with him, Cynthia? He's not your friend. He's not a positive space in your life. Like I said, I really do feel like the universe is trying to help you let go of his energy. But as you know, he's had this cycle of running back and forth. So when things hit the fan with that woman, he's going to hope that you'll be a soft place to fall. And that's when your boundaries are really going to be tested. When he tries to come back when things are rough with that woman. So that's what you have to start preparing for, what you're going to do when that day comes, because that day is going to come. Or if he goes over into that country and doesn't like it and wants to come back home, he's hoping that you'll be that soft place to fall. So you have to think about this stuff ahead of time, because that's what he's going to try to do to you. And he's not going to think that you're going to have a boundary with him. And then he'll probably use the fact that you guys, now it'll be to his benefit to say that you guys are a family and that he misses his daughter. He's going to use all of that stuff to get you to help him when he wants to come back to this country, or when things don't work out with him in that other country. So you have to start, getting yourself mentally strong for that day. So absolutely no contact. F him. You don't need him. He had no class about it. It's one thing, like, you guys haven't been together in ages, but you guys are co-parenting, and I guess the love of his life is in another country, and he's decided to go over there, but he's making plans like, you know what, I'm still going to be in touch with my daughter, because he doesn't necessarily have to be in touch with you, Cynthia, since you guys aren't married. But, right. So don't feel like you owe him anything. And at this point, don't feel like he owes you anything. And be okay with that, because anything that he could give you is going to be toxic anyway. So let him be that other woman's burden, because that's what he is, a liability to, She's just probably keeping a strong face because, she's having a baby. She chose to have a baby with him. A man that's not even employed with a job. So she's definitely not in a good space. Crystal Head says his excuse was always his happiness. Learn from that. Learn from that first part right there. His excuse was always his happiness. You guys, these people tell on themselves. They tell on themselves. He's just saying it right then and there. They're always going to put their own self-interest first. And I said it a couple times early on in the topics we were talking about. If you're willing to put your own self-interest first, they're not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. His happiness always came first. Even if their happiness is toxicity, that's their happiness. So your happiness has to come first too, Cynthia and Crystal. But Crystal says his excuse was always his happiness. I came home one day and he was laying in the bed talking to a woman he met on a chat line and didn't stop talking to her even while I was in the house. Yeah, he was bold and comfortable, girl. Bold and comfortable. The audacity. I keep saying, like, their ignorance, it breeds audacity, and it's true. That's telling you a lot right then and there. I don't know if you guys are married or just living together in a long-term relationship, but laying in the bed that you guys share, because they always need stimulation. They can't just get that attention from one person. Narcissists are generally not faithful. Generally not. Crystal Sunflower says, yes, future faking all the time, 20 years of this. I'm ashamed to say it. Well, don't be. Right now you could just step into your power and just get real with yourself. And I hate to sound like Dr. Phil with that get real, but you do need to get real with yourself, Cynthia. And let go of romanticizing what you think you have with him. Because you don't have that for sure. Crystal says, I feel bad that sometimes I love the relationship. I feel bad that sometimes I long for the relationship at times, but I know he is not good for me. Can't even grieve the loss of my child. So angry. I don't think you're longing for the relationship with him. You're just longing for the relationship from someone. You're longing for intimacy. And I don't want you to confuse that with longing for him. And you can start to grieve your child if you take away the space that he's renting in your mind. Are you guys actually still together? Wait. No, you said he divorced you and he left. Yeah, so he's gone. Yeah. You're grieving both. In reality, Crystal, you're probably grieving both. But the harder grief is the baby, And with the narcissist, what we're really grieving is what we thought it was, So you're just longing for connection. You're probably longing for some nurturing. And that's exactly what he wasn't giving you. So Cynthia says, well, he did tell me I met her and I could see myself growing old with her about his new girlfriend now. Of course, because when narcissists first meet everybody, they've had that rush of feelings too. There was confirmation. He probably thought that about you at first. They get drunk off of their own trauma bonds and dopamines, and he probably said that to hurt you. And why is he even, why did he need to tell you that? See what I'm saying? Like, he was trying to hurt you with that. He was trying to hurt you with that. He was really trying to hurt you with that. I'm feeling that right now. You can grieve. You guys don't have to be stuck in grieving as long as you're able to just step into the truth. Because the last part of healing is a release, but you can't release what you don't acknowledge, And also understanding that you don't need any type of closure from the person who abused you. A lot of people get stuck in a healing process or in their grieving process, especially when it comes from abuse, because they're waiting for an apology. They're waiting for the other person who's not doing the work, who's not going to change, who's probably going to get worse. They're waiting for them to do something. Your progression, your ability to grieve, it does not depend on anyone but yourself. You can give yourself closure. A lot of times in the past, people would come get coaching from me and they want to logically connect the dots. And I'm okay with that. That's what I made this channel for. Connect the dots all you want. But you don't need to know everything. But you do know what you need to know. It's really simple. And I tell people that all the time. Yes, we can break it down. We can get into critical thinking. I'm fine with that. But at the end of the day, you really know what you need to know to move forward. You know that this person was abusing you. You know this person was taking you for granted. You know you guys were on different pages. So we have to sometimes get out of our own way, and then also not limit ourselves in thinking that the healing process should look a certain way. Be flexible with that and empower yourself to know that I have everything inside of me to make this happen. And I wouldn't even dare think that the narcissist is going to be a part of helping me heal. If anything, they want to pull me away from that energy, right? They're not going to be a part of the healing process. As far as that, I mean, I'm going to take the hard lessons. That's the only part they played. And they did their part right there. So Sleeping Fox said, I would go into immediate ignore mode. The final text you should send to him is, I'm only willing to speak with you in this therapist's office. Make and pay for all the appointments. Well, that would be if you were inviting this person back into your life. Honestly, I would just be silent. I wouldn't even be willing to go to the therapist's office with a narcissist because I know 99.9% that this person is not going to change. And it would just be turned into this person scapegoating me, gaslighting me, making everything my fault, and maybe causing a scene, making it dramatic, playing the victim. I wouldn't even do it with them. And especially not in Cynthia's case or in Crystal's case. I would just let well enough be. So Fly Nola Queen says, marriage don't even keep a man faithful. Only a faithful man can be faithful. Absolutely. And that's why I said, about your womb, well, of course, the advice was not to do it outside of marriage, but I did disclose that not even marriage would be a guarantee because there's so many divorces. And people can cheat, of course. And a husband can still be a bad father. So it's really just getting to know that person. But Crystal says, yep, I have gone no contact. Apps good. And stay that way. You'll find that the longer that you're out of his energy, the better you'll start feeling, especially if you are, beginning to do the work of refilling your cup in a positive way. Sleeping Fox says, I'm a man and I never cheat. Cool. But I've seen a study that said as much as 74% of men have cheated in marriage. So you're an exception at that point, Sleeping Fox. Cynthia Flowers says he is moving and does not care about if I live or die, but I blocked him, no contact now. Good. And that's pretty powerful to say that someone doesn't care if you live or die. So he needs to be just as much as a non-factor to you or more. Cynthia says the narc I was with roughed me up badly psychologically. When I was pregnant, my daughter had a lot of issues when she was born. Yeah. They've actually done studies on how we can pass trauma to a fetus. So those are real things. But that was 19 years ago, Cynthia. I hope that, you've done enough work on it now to address those things. Okay, Cynthia says there is a child support order. Okay. So he probably needs to go to another country because he's racking up debt and eventually they're going to summons him to court for non-payment, Crystal Head says, right, I never thought I would have a child. So it has been an emotional toll for sure. Her name is Amari. She was a beautiful chocolate girl. I had her. She just came too early. Yeah, I think it's hard when before 24 weeks. I think it's hard for them. With the lung development, it's hard. Yeah, I'm sorry that you went through that, Crystal. That's really rough. But, everything happens for a reason, and just pray for your baby girl. And don't, let him take you away from her energetically. Cynthia says they have been talking it out at his job, but now he's off the job. Oh, they were taking the child support out. Right. Right. Well, of course, and then, he's leaving the country. So unless he was working remote, he's probably, Crystal Head says they like to say, let's be friends. I considered it, but I thought if I can't trust you as a spouse, I definitely don't need you as a friend. Right. Because where was the friendship? Where was the friendship in the marriage? So when someone's your spouse, there's an element of friendship there. So you're right about that. Don't even consider it. No one should consider being friends with a narcissist. That's a powerful position. That's putting them in another powerful position if you think about it. And an even more powerful one, honestly, because there are friends that have been there longer than all those. You've been through a divorce. Your friends are the ones that are still there. So people that are friends actually end up staying in your life longer a lot of times than a spouse. So it's actually giving that person an even higher position in a certain way, according to the divorces that go on. They like to keep their options open. Mm-hmm. And no contact is going to be best. Right. Let them seek their happiness elsewhere. Right. Because we know what their happiness is, the cycle of abuse. And you playing dumb or allowing them to steamroll over your boundaries and feelings. Cynthia Sunflower says he told me he wanted to spend a lot of time before he left for Germany. It sounded good, right? Did he say that when he was asking you for something? You said you told him no, right? Maybe he wanted to still sleep with you, probably? Is that what he was trying to do, Cynthia? Mm-hmm. So you're talking about the job that the other girl got him. Right. Sleeping Fox says all narcs telling themselves. They really do. Oh my gosh. If you think about the relationship, any relationship I had with a narcissist, they literally told on themselves from the beginning all the way to the end. It's just that, we might be minimizing it or not taking them literally when you should. Like, I've literally had narcissists say, I know I ain't shit. Multiple occasions. So, but just knowing how to understand what they tell you, especially when they're not being direct, and understanding how they, when you start to get to know their life story or they're talking about their last relationships, like if you know how to listen for that, a person that doesn't take accountability or that sounds very vengeful, spiteful, petty, hateful. These are the type of things that you should be listening to. Sleeping Fox says he's not a man. Men don't focus on happiness. Yeah, they tend to focus on purpose more than anything, because you'll find life may not always be about your happiness, and especially if you're a man, because you're expected to provide. So life for a typical man is usually going to be about his purpose and providing, and he needs to take happiness in being able to do those things successfully. Yeah. So Crystal Head says clarity is the enemy of faith. Clarity is? Well, I guess if you have the faith in the wrong thing, clarity, will change that. Sleeping Fox says the abuser can't heal you. Knowing he's a narcissist is the closure. Right. Pretty much. And Sleeping Fox says, you're speaking to my situation so much. Yeah. And because they're so textbook, that's why so many people, like everyone in the community is united because they're all like, the exact specific behaviors may be different, but the general concept, they're all doing it. The cycle of abuse, like it's the pattern, and they don't get out of that pattern. So that's why everybody can relate. Cynthia Sunflower says, this is the most therapeutic talk. And the chat was wise and beautiful. Thank you so much. Blessings to you each. Good. I'm glad it's helping you, Cynthia, because this is a time for you to really pivot, and really let go of some things that you've been holding on to for a long time, as far as romanticizing your relationship with him. I think once you had a child with him, you were just all in, and it's like, we're a family because you guys did create a family. But with a narcissist is always going to be a toxic family dynamic, and they're going to drop the ball on their responsibilities, and you pretty much feel like a single mother anyway. Then the person ends up feeling like dead weight. And then you're going to see the selfishness because, as you said, his happiness always comes first. It's always going to come before you and even, you guys' child. Cynthia says, we went to therapy a while ago. He made me pay, and the therapist fell for his okie doke. Right. Didn't I tell you? I told you. Because someone had suggested you guys go to therapy. I was like, don't waste your time doing that with a narcissist. You're better off going to therapy by yourself to help you, get past the situation if that's the case. Or to start dealing with your inner childhood wounds, or, unpacking the things that you need to deal with yourself so that you won't stay with people like this, because you'll always attract a narcissist if you're a good person. If you have your energy, if you have good light inside of you, if you're kind and empathic, they flock to those people like a moth to a flame. But the thing is, once you've been through this enough, or you get it or increase your emotional maturity, they won't be able to stay that long. Because people be like, you attract what you are. No, I don't agree with that statement. That is a lie. You'll attract all kinds of people because everybody wants something shiny. Imagine all the different variety and types of people that can be attracted to one celebrity. You know what I mean? They're all different walks of life. So no, you're not attracting what you are. But the person that you choose to actually latch on to in that way, like you're connecting with this person. Now there's something energetically going on there. Now, if you're choosing to bond with a narcissist and make commitments with them, there's something energetically that's familiar with that. Now, that's what you'll have to look into. Not the fact that you attracted a narcissist, but the fact that you chose the narcissist while they chose you, and you guys had this experience together, right? Cynthia, because you can be, after a while, you'll just start tossing them back. You'll recognize the traits and you'll start throwing them back, and the damage that they could do on your life, will become very minimal, if any, at that point. It might even be laughable. They absolutely are big manipulators, Crystal. Right. Your happiness and your peace is definitely priceless, Crystal. Cynthia said, he told me he could not be your friend. Right. He's telling on himself right there. He's right. He can't be your friend because he doesn't know how to be a friend. I'm sure he didn't mean it in that way, but in your emotional maturity, he's telling on himself subconsciously. Sleeping Fox said, my narc said, are you concerned I might not be the spotless person you think I am in your mind? Oh my gosh, what a sick question to ask. And why did they phrase it like that? Oh my goodness. That person was full of mind games, I'm sure, Sleeping Fox. That sounds like that person was full of a lot of mind games. Are you concerned I might not be the spotless person you think I am in your mind? What type of mind games were this person? Sleeping Fox says, my narc look, talk, dress, behave so pure that the Virgin Mary seemed like a Kardashian until the double life was discovered, then the mask slipped. Yeah, right. Yeah. And when you have those type of relationships with them, you're up close to it in a way that other people aren't. So you'll definitely get to see who the real them is soon enough, because they can't keep it up for but so long. There's confirmation, a lot of confirmation. Yeah. But this is good. It seems like everybody's out of this situation. But let's all send Crystal and Cynthia some positive vibes. Cynthia Sunflower says they all have a double life, triple, quadruple, and so forth and so on. Double life is an understatement, Cynthia. I'm sure my ex-narc was on the DL. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. Well, does anyone else have any questions about their situation? I'll leave the chat open for a couple minutes, literally 2, to see if anyone else wants to type anything before I end this live chat, you guys. I'm going to change. As a matter of fact, I can edit this. Yeah. I'm sending you good vibes, Cynthia, and know that, it's time for you to live for you. Don't live for the family you thought you were going to have with him. Don't live for a family you think that could return you. All the stuff that we talked about, like, really take that serious, because one day he's going to hoover you back when things get too serious over there, and that woman really wants him to be mature and responsible and reciprocal. He's going to want to break from it one day. He just may try to come back to you, like I said, and lie to you and do all that hoovering that he's been doing throughout the years, triangulation that he's been doing throughout the years, hopping from you and her. So just, you're strong enough to put yourself first in your best interest, and don't feel guilty about it. You don't owe him nothing. You owe him nothing. You owe yourself, just think about what you owe yourself, Cynthia. Sleeping Fox says, really enjoyed this. First time finding you. I just opened YouTube and you were there. God brought me here. Yeah. And I've been here for almost 8 years. There's a lot of content on here, but I've been doing lives because I like interactiveness. And it's a good way for me to go back and forth with you guys. But it also helps me with editing, because I really don't like editing videos. So I'm like, you know what? We'll just do this real time. All right, Sleeping Fox, what's your question? I'll wait for it. Crystal says, watch their eyes. You see the emptiness in them. Absolutely. I was just laughing about this the other day when I did a video on the dating scene. And I was suggesting the people of you that are out here dating, on Facebook groups, there I date him or don't date him. Yes, it's the don't date him groups. Find the one in your state. The don't date him Pennsylvania. Don't date him Texas. Don't date him California. Find those groups, you guys. Or find the one, if it's a long distance and he's from New York and you're from somewhere else, find the don't date him New York then. And then join the one in your state too. I'll be looking at the pictures because they'll actually disclose the person's face. Like, they show people who have tried to sexually assault them and all types of things. And sometimes women might be getting close to him and they might just share his picture. Are any of you dealing with him? Like, they'll ask the question because they don't know if they should trust the person yet. But I highly recommend you guys join these groups. But when I look at some of those pictures, And, people will tell the stories about how the person played them or didn't take it serious or, was acting immature or abusive. When I look at these people's eyes, a lot of times they don't even look right off the rip. I'm like, how did you move past this person's eyes? Like, it's okay. Like, you could look at somebody's eyes and see the darkness. Sometimes it's just jet black, or there's something very sad and deprived looking about it. I even talked about in another life where I could see the demon inside of them at times. Like, you could see it's something going on there, that person is not at peace. So, yes, the eyes are very telling. Like, I could look at a picture and usually tell if a person is of the light or of the dark. And they could even be in a dark as far as they're just depressed. But they can be in a dark. I know usually when it's a depressed type of dark or when it's like, oh, that person is evil. Yeah, there's an energy. Like, I look in the eyes like, yeah. That's when they talk about a picture is 1,000 words. Yes. But yeah, the eyes tell a lot. And I do encourage you guys to not disregard yourself, because I've said it throughout the years, a lot of times toxic empaths, they have to get beat upside the head with evidence. Like, stop being the person that needs to get beat upside the head with the truth. Or, you already had the feeling, but you didn't want to trust it. You don't need more evidence. Sometimes that's, enough evidence right there. Like, I have a weird feeling. I'm clicking through the dating profile. Ooh, when I look at that face, that looks weird. Even though this person hearted me, I don't have to heart them back just because they hearted me. But I see something weird in his eyes, I'm passing. You know what I mean? It's okay. You can just go strictly off of that. Like, I think, we give people too much. And that's the wanting to see the best in someone. Because toxic empaths, they want to see the good in everybody. But you're avoiding that. They have a dark side too. I don't, is it ruling them or not? But if you already get a bad vibe just by looking at them, that's enough right there. I don't know what I was listening to earlier, but they were talking about how some people just suppress their intuition so much when it's there to actually protect you and keep you safe. Because you could pick up on a bad vibe and feel like, you know what, I'm not even walking in that room, and it could save your life. You picked up on the vibe already. That's how people in the streets, they kind of can pick up on the vibe of this person is about to try to rob me or something. You know what I mean? Like, they're okay with accepting their vibes, and they honor it because them gut instincts be on point. And like I said the other day, it's never been wrong for me. When I got the ick or whatever, something put me off, it's never been wrong. It has never been wrong. Sleeping Fox says, went no contact 8 months ago. She monkey branched. Oh, that's a cute one. She monkey branched. I keep praying for her to reach out because it's so hard to accept. After 7 years, it was trashed in a flash. We were to get married and have kids. You're praying for her to reach out? Sleeping Fox, the prayer should be giving you the strength to move forward, not drawing that energy back in. And be thankful that you actually didn't get married, because it probably would have ended in a divorce at that rate. Sleeping Fox says, I discovered she was on dating apps, cheating with 2 married men at the same time, having threesomes. Nobody knows this life she has. Her parents are faithful Christians. Yeah. I don't, narcissistic women, they have, just from me, the men that have gotten coaching from me, they usually have the sex part on lock, meaning that's the part that most men who have been with narcissistic women, they have a hard time letting go of the sex. And you know how important sex is to most men. So they usually get men hooked through sex, and that's why, people talk about the Jezebel spirit and those type of topics and the soul ties, the sexual soul tie. But yeah, men, men love their sex, so they have a hard time, and they admit it. They're like, that's what's keeping me stuck. I miss the sex. Cynthia Sunflower says, yes, they monkey branch one to the next. Yeah. Sleeping Fox says, yeah, that's crazy. I've heard oh my gosh, I've heard the craziest stories, like married men walking in on their wife, giving a BJ to a man in the living room while the kids are upstairs playing in the house that he's paying all the bills for, or walking in, finding their wife in their bed, in their home with two men, and then the man says, can I finish, to the guy. What? These are the type of things. Whoa. Like, so bold. So bold, you guys. I'm telling you, like, and it's hard, because you just never know how bad someone might be pretending, but we really got to make an effort to try our best to vet people before we let them in, but people can pretend for a long time if they want. Sleeping Fox says, I'm still in shock, but I'm slowly healing. I was truly in love, but it was with an illusion. Right. So once, at least you know that. So, because the reality of what you really got is nothing that deserves your love. So he says he has a trauma bond. Yeah, so we need to change that prayer, Sleeping Fox. The prayer is for you to renew your mind and to let go of that energy. That's the prayer. Cynthia Sunflower says, that's who I think my ex-narc is, with a female narc sex addict. Yeah. It's possible. I'm so scared to ever trust anyone again after this. Yeah, I've addressed this in other videos, but I'm going to address it too here to help you out, Cynthia. You have to learn how to trust yourself, but until you do the work, you're going to project that externally. It's more about learning how to trust yourself than it is about trusting others. Because if you can trust yourself to protect yourself, to have the adequate boundaries, to be able to see a predator out, or, an abusive personality, if you can trust yourself, then you know that once you see the red flags, you're going to take them serious. You know that people can't just manipulate you because you've invested in your emotional maturity. You know that you think for yourself, so people can't manipulate you that way. No one can gaslight you because when you've seen something, you've seen it. Like when you start standing on, being solid within yourself and not needing to people please, not caring about hurting other people and stuff like that, you're going to start trusting yourself. So all I really need in this world is to be able to trust myself to protect myself. You could do that, then it doesn't matter what this other person brings to me, because I'm going to be adequate enough to dead it, or to end it, or to do the appropriate thing that will keep me protected and safe as soon as I realize it, right? So, the worst thing that we would want to do is isolate ourselves, because that's a phase. And I've gone through that at one time in my life when I went through something very severe and traumatizing. I did kind of go into a hermit mode where I didn't want to interact with people, but I think I needed to do that. I didn't just go into a hermit mode. I was in active therapy for 18 months with 2 therapists. Yeah, I had to do intensive therapy at that time in my life. And it really helped me out, you guys. But eventually, I wanted to socialize again. I missed having people. I missed having companionship. And I got back out there and I trusted myself a lot more because I had done the work, you know? Mm-hmm. Right. So it's good to do that. It's definitely good. It's investing in yourself. You know, you invest so much in trying to get that relationship to work. And once it's over and you're depleted, you have to start finding healthy ways to start filling your own cup. Because you're trying to fill it with a toxic narcissist, and you see how that ends up making you feel like crap, right? Because they're just filling it with a bunch of toxicity, not anything that's going to uplift you or bring out the better version of yourself. But when you start filling it properly, because a lot of times we're using them to fill voids that we should be filling for ourselves anyway, right? We're trying to, I wouldn't even call it self-soothing because it's not even the self if you're using the narcissist, but yeah, we're running off of our own addictions to that codependent relationship or that toxic relationship. So yeah, intensive therapy is needed, Cynthia, because you've had 20 years of, of that situation. 20 years. So that should be on your to-do list. Sleeping Fox says, thank you for answering my questions. You're welcome. And Cynthia says, that makes sense. I need to trust myself. Yes. Absolutely. That's the best way to go about life because you can't control other people. And narcissists are going to do what's in a narcissist's nature to do. I wouldn't even expect them to do anything else out of my emotional maturity and common sense at that point. But what I can do is protect myself from these type of people moving forward. So the more that I can trust myself to do that, the more that I'll trust myself to interact with people in society because I'll be able to, pick out the good and the bad people, and not letting people get too close to me too soon and, just having those proper boundaries. As a matter of fact, there was something I was jotting down. Let me find it. That I think would be actually pretty helpful right now. What was I talking about? Hold on a second, you guys. I'm always writing something down, by the way. Because all day I'm like, I listen. I'm a psychology junkie, and all day I'm listening to things and it light bulbs me or it makes me think about something else or I don't know. It just is. I'm just constantly feeding myself stuff. And I recommend that for you guys too. It's only going to help you. Hold on a sec. Let me check something out real quick. I have so many different clipboards and notebooks, but I was jotting something down. Or was it? Sometimes I put it in my phone memo pad as well. Could be there. Let me check real quick. But no, I know this was something I was writing on my paper. I was basically, let me see something. Oh, yeah. You know what? Maybe I should start sharing this mantra in every video, too. Let me put this paper right here. There's a mantra that I talked about a couple of lives ago, and I think I should start sharing it every video. But hold on a minute. I'm trying to find something else real quick. Yeah, another upcoming topic may be when someone feels the need to humble you. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. But there was something else. I think I mixed the paper. I know what I did. I had some other paperwork out today. And it was on a whole nother something else. And I think I might have mixed it in with it because I took all the paper. Cynthia Sunflower says, Lakia, you are such a beautiful soul, full of healing energy and wisdom. Thanks. I appreciate that. I'm not a perfect person, but my intentions for you guys are definitely of the light. But this is the mantra. And can I use it better? The mantra is, all is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this experience, only good will come my way, and I am safe. Yeah, that's a mantra that I've said to myself. I really do think I mixed it in with this paperwork, and I don't want to do that. I think what I was jotting down earlier, and I had got at least 6 talking points on there too, and I found like it was a good idea to bring it up. So it was basically about the best way to heal, or just some good emotional maturity talking points on healing. And I know, like, the first thing I wrote was not taking the abuse personally, because people do that because it happens in a personal relationship. And also being willing to step into your new energy, basically. Not people pleasing. This next version of you has to be different, obviously. You have to be willing to lose additional people, because a lot of times when you've been in that relationship, you probably find that there's some other toxic people in your life that you may need to let go as well. Once you make that shift in your healing process, be okay with everyone not being happy for you, but that's the thing. It's all about really getting solid with yourself, because if you're happy with it or with yourself and with how you're leading your life, that's what matters. You don't need anybody else's approval. That's the thing. When you were in that narcissistic, abusive relationship, it was always trying to, balance things out with this person. Right now, and moving forward and forever, you need to be living for yourself, because that's what's not happening when you're with a narcissist. Once you're in the healing process, it's time to start living for yourself. That means stop thinking about what this person is thinking and feeling, what they're going to say about something. Who cares about their opinion? Who cares about them at all? Like, the whole point is working through releasing that energy, which is releasing that person. Be okay with naysayers. Be okay with people, whatever they want to say, whatever. It's about you and your healing process and what you have to do. And if you weren't making boundaries with the narcissist, you probably weren't making boundaries with others. So once you start making boundaries with them for your own self-preservation and your own self-care, those other narcissists or toxic people in your life, they're not going to like it. So I had jotted down, I basically was making a conversation about that for you guys. It's okay. Empaths, they want to be likable. They want people to like them. And in our emotional maturity, it's impossible for everybody to like you. And accept that. It's okay. You know how exhausting it is to try to get everybody's approval? Like, man, do you see how many people, they will bend over backwards to try to do good deeds in the world? Just go on Instagram. And it's crazy. Under videos, I see people doing beautiful things. There's always some negative people under there. The first thing they have to say is something negative. They don't even acknowledge, the efforts and the energy of this person. There's always going to be people that will find something wrong. These people are unhappy, and they want to take the topic off of them. There's always going to be somebody to find something wrong. You could try to do everything perfect. There's always. The example that people always like to use is Jesus, right? Even though I'm Muslim and I don't exactly believe this, but this story is telling you something as far as he did all of that and look how he got treated. You see? So if someone like that, who's parting seas and performing miracles, if human beings find a way to make that person a bad person, to abuse and dehumanize and mistreat, If people could find fault in that person, what chance do any of us have? Human nature on the negative side, it could be ignorance. And like I keep saying, ignorance breeds audacity. There are a lot of ignorant people in the world, period. So when you start, making your healing process, you need to be strong on who you are. And that's not defined by anybody but you and, your God. That's between you two. And nobody else has a say in that. As a matter of fact, you should feel like I've spent too much of my time people pleasing. I've spent too much of my time giving energy to people who don't deserve it. You deserve all your energy as much as possible. And it's okay. Selfish is not all a bad word. Sometimes you need to be selfish. Sometimes, self-preservation is not a bad thing. You need to have that in life. And sometimes you need to be selfish. I think that word selfish gets a bad rap because people only use it in a negative term. Sometimes you need to. And empaths have a hard time with that notion. Because we give and we overextend. We give what we don't even have to give. We give what we need to put into our own creative projects, into our own purpose that God is waking you up every day to do. Stop doing that. Only give what you can actually afford to give. Learn how to do that. Those are the type of boundaries that show a healthy person. There's billions of people in the world. It's okay if you can't save the day every time. Who said you had to save the day every time? Stop making things your assignment. You're overextending yourself. It's okay to take a nap. It's okay to have a day of rest. It's okay to have a soft life even. I promote it, especially after narcissistic abuse. Be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself the space, to get the adequate self-care. You need to be getting proper rest. You need to get blood work and make sure your vitamins are good. Get some fresh air, exercise, put good things into your body. I have a whole nighttime routine. I like to have things play subconsciously while I'm sleeping. I'll listen to certain things or I have certain things playing, And this is a fun fact, just as on a fun tip, you guys. I like ASMR videos. That's a fun, cute fact about me. I do. I like nail tapping. I like the water kind. Yeah. I tend to not like the talking ASMR. It's like I like it when they don't talk. But yeah. I have a lot of sides to me, And I enjoy watching like people who live in RVs and stuff, even though that's not something I would want to do. But sometimes I get fascinated by seeing how other people live differently from me. And I do have somewhat of a naturey side to me, not the kind where I would live in a tent, but there are people that I watch that actually put up extravagant tents and, they're like living their best life. And I'm happy for them, but it's not really my thing, but I like watching it. So, in your healing process, just reconnect with yourself and do the things that make you happy. Go think about it. Some people are so disconnected, they don't even know what that looks like. I encourage everyone to journal at that time, to keep a dream dictionary, and just write down random thoughts. One day you can look back at it and see how far you've come. Because I have things like that. I can look back at different times in my life. I even have journals from my childhood. Because, even though I did so many extracurricular activities and I was very studious, like in the National Honor Society and stuff, I played basketball in college, you guys. Like, it's so much stuff you guys don't even know about me. But I have journals from when I was a child, and it shows some of the toxicity that was going on, like, in my household, And I read that, and I'm very gentle with that little girl that's inside of me that went through those things, And I've addressed her. and all types of things. And, we're whole and happy here and at peace. But, I went back and I acknowledged those things. I don't live in the past, but I acknowledge it, and I did what I had to do to grieve in anything that I had to grieve, and, increase my emotional maturity to understand what parts of my adult behaviors were stemming from those experiences, you know? Just like I tell people when they're healing from narcissistic abuse to know whose voice you're hearing when thoughts run through your head. Because we have like 65,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot. And they're not all your thoughts. We think everything that comes through our mind is of us, and it's not the case. Satan or the devil can whisper in your ears, or you can have echoes of previous verbal abuse or flashbacks to that. So whose voice? And I would tell people this a lot in sessions when they tell me certain things that they're thinking. It's like, okay, well, whose voice is that really that we're hearing right now? A lot of times when they're fresh out of the narcissistic abuse relationships, they're thinking of all the horrific things. They're replaying this stuff in their mind. So it's not even your thought, it's their thought. And then when we know that all the thoughts aren't ours, then we have the authority, or we can give ourselves the right to rebuke these thoughts or to counter those thoughts with something positive. Like if you're thinking something really negative, and it could be something that someone tried to push on you psychologically, but they've said it enough times where they planted that seeds, and now we're trying to pull these weeds, right, from the verbal abuse. So, I always teach people to rebuke those things and to counter it and say the complete opposite, whether you believe it or not. Because a lot of times people tell someone enough times and they start to believe it. That's why we shouldn't talk down on children and call them stupid all the time, because they'll start to believe they're stupid. You're programming a person when you verbally say something to them. And if you're redundant, that's the programming right there. So there's confirmation. So it's important, you guys, to reverse that type of thing. And you can fake it until you make it. You might feel stupid because, I was stupid. I fell for their games. And you're really not. That's why I said feel. You might feel stupid. You weren't stupid. You may have been ignorant. You may have been naive. You might have thought it was love. You might not have understood manipulation and abuse. You may have not been in your right mind for whatever reason. So it's a lot of things that are going on. So, but yeah. Sleeping Fox says, I'm moving to Europe 3 months, and each year I'm able to work remotely. Well, that's nice. Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, this was a 2-hour live chat. The twins are just like barging in. They've been wanting to ask me some questions. Hold on, Mia Myers. Hold on. I'll be with you. She's so beautiful. The twins are getting so big. It's common knowledge on this channel, you guys, that I have twins. They're 8 now for any of my day ones. They're getting so big, you guys. So big. And so beautiful. I'm telling you, they're absolutely beautiful. I can't believe it. They're 8, you guys. They're getting big. But they're so cute. They're so cute. They're better versions of me. Oh, I'm on live. You can tell me in a sec. I'm about to get off. Yeah, it shouldn't even be up because it's 10 p.m. Yeah, Cynthia says a blessing. Yeah, I know. Cynthia says, I remember when they were 3 years old.
The baby dancing is a game.
Okay.
On YouTube.
So, yeah. And I was telling someone, I was like, they didn't have terrible twos, but right now they're 8 and stuff. They're a handful. They be running through the house. They're full of life. And they have partners in crimes. So. Sleeping Fox says, I'm a twin. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I attract so many twins. Like, seriously. It has to be an energetic thing at this point. I go to stores and I'm always finding out someone's a twin. It's like it's just an energy thing. But that's cool. Yeah, and God bless you guys. It's always nice to come on here and spend time and hang out. I'm going to edit the title real quick though before I end the stream, and then I won't have to edit it in the other thing. So right now it's titled Reinforcement Not to Go Back to the Narcissist. All right, and then we'll say, and reasons why the narcissist comes back. All right, so apparently I have to get some of these letters out. The title can only have so many characters. Go back to the narcissist and reasons why the narcissist comes back. Yeah. But again, it's up to you to take that invitation and to be wise enough and not just flow off of your, the trauma bond, of course. All right, you guys. I hope this live chat helps. If I don't see any other comments, I'm going to give it 1 minute this time. If I don't see any comments, I'm going to end the live chat if no one has any other questions. Someone said, I would love to hear that. Was that? Oh, okay, probably the topic that I was talking about. Yeah. 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 Cynthia, I do have videos like about, when you first go no contact and stuff like that. And I even have a playlist called, I believe, Logic versus Emotions. That might be good. And I actually have a motivational playlist as well. Those are good for the days where you don't feel like getting out of bed. And, the thing about healing through, hey, hold on a minute. The thing about healing, go ahead, Mia. Thank you. The thing about healing through narcissistic abuse, you really start to dwell in the truth at that point. And, things will start dawning on you that wasn't dawning on you before. Your eyes are really getting open at this time because you're willing. You're not in resistance anymore. You're willing to actually see the truth. And it will feel hurtful because you're going to start being able to read between the lines and the things that you weren't able to see. You had some blind spots before you were actually, walking in the pure truth of the interactions. And it'll be revealed to you because now you can handle it. But of course, we're humans and we still have feelings. So, it's going to make you feel like you have, all these incidents to work your way through at that point. Yeah. You're welcome. And good night to you, Cynthia. And I'm going to say good night as well. I'll still be up because I have some creative projects to work on. But, hit a like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll let you know when I'll be live again, which is divinely guided on my end. It's not really a scheduled thing. But I hope to see you guys in the next live. Stay well, stay safe, you guys, and please take care.